Hi. A very popular method of marketing online now is called content marketing. It is a relatively simple idea, and I have some notes on it that I've written down on a whiteboard that I'll take a screenshot of and I'll attach to this, but I'm just going to talk through it very briefly. So the company that is the forerunner of content marketing is HubSpot. You've probably heard of them. They're the real experts in this, and their business is pretty much built around this whole concept of content marketing. And put simply, it is you create great relevant content that attracts people. You get their contact information from that content, and then you can reach them and convince them of your expertise and sell to them. So, to do this, first of all, you have to create great content. You have to have an idea of what your customers need, and you look at what people have responded most favorably to through your own the content you produced previously. So you look at Google Analytics, and you make great content. It has to be found, so you have to make sure it's optimized for SEO, and you have to promote it as well. So you're on social media and you're pushing out links to it. You need to refine it pretty much constantly. So you're doing testing, you're doing A/B testing, heat maps, things like that, where you're refining the titles, where you're placing the forms to capture people's information, things like that. And oftentimes, I'm sure you've experienced this, there will be a brief amount of info, and then to get an ebook or a white paper or something like that, you will exchange your contact information. And that's the goal, is to get your contact information, then you're a lead, and they can market to you further. And that happens typically through email newsletters or perhaps direct emails or phone calls where people will say, I understand you have an interest in this, you have a need for this thing, let me see if I can help you somehow. So that's the whole thing in a nutshell. It's a pretty simple idea, and it does work well for a lot of people. A lot of people make their living off of doing this. But there are issues. And I would say there are two, and they're very simple. One is there's just an ocean of content out there. As more and more people realize that to establish their expertise, they want to create content. And as more and more people jump on the content marketing bandwagon, you're seeing more and more and more content out there. There's just tons of content. Everybody has a blog, it seems. Everybody is writing ebooks, has white papers. There are whole apps that are nothing but tools to help you find content to read. I mean, you could read content all day long, and a lot of people are curating content as well, helping you find the best things that you can. So, I mean, you're trying to stand out in this absolute ocean of content, and to stand out, you have to put a lot of effort into this. It not only takes time to create this content, but you have to create great content regularly and refine it and promote it. It's a lot of work. So, what are alternatives? How else can you do this? How else can you help people find you and get them to work with you? Get them as customers, or at least get them as leads that you can then monitor and pursue in an effort to get their business. Well, what I would suggest is you sort of flip this model on its head. Instead of creating tons of award-winning content on a weekly basis, which is a pretty tough task, use social media listening tools that are platform agnostic. They're not channel specific. And my favorite, the one that we use and we help people out with, is Nuvi. You set up a monitor, put in your words, your keywords, all this sort of stuff. It will search everything on the internet, every social media outlet, every blog, everything. and it will find where people are having discussions about these issues, who the influencers are, what the concerns are, what the keywords are. So that's great information, right? Then you should go and create your content. I'd say not yet. Because what's the goal here? I would say the goal is conversation. Now you can try to start the conversation by creating this great content, have people come to your site, read your content, and either post comments there, or they post comments to Twitter or something like that. But what about if you just hear the conversations that are already going on and you jump in? You hear what people are saying, the needs that they have, you try to help them. You listen. Sometimes questions will be longer than you can answer in a dozen words or so. Make a video, make a blog post, and send it directly to that person. I'm not saying only to that person, but be specific. Focus on specific people, specific issues. Win people one at a time. You won't just be winning them one at a time. People will notice this. They will have the same questions that these other people asked, and you'll get some great word of mouth. Just my suggestion is, don't try to reach everyone in the world by writing this content that people are going to somehow find amidst all this other content. Instead, see the problems that people are already having and go out and help them. I think it's a lot more efficient. It will take a lot less time. There's a lot less guesswork. And if you want to be able to do that, work with us and we'll find where these conversations are taking place, what the keywords are, who the influencers are, and where you can jump in and start showing people your expertise and how you can help. Thanks a lot.